Good evening. In today's session, let's discuss regarding cooperative federalism and decentralization of financial resources. What is the meaning of this? Let's try to understand one after the other. If you look at the word cooperative, there must be an existence of cooperation between the various parts. What are these parts? We are going to understand. Number two, if you look at the word federalism, during our Indian polity classes discussion, I have discussed with respect to federation very elaborately. And the same concept is applicable even here, but we are implementing this concept in Indian economy. Right? So during that time, I told you the word federation is not mentioned in the constitution. But India is a federation, that's what we say. So we have lots of federal features in India, and that will be reflected in the constitution itself in the form of the 7th schedule of the constitution, which consists of three lists: union list, state list and concurrent list. Clear? We are going to come to that now. But the second one is that decentralization of financial resources. When I say decentralization, what do you mean by this? Before understanding the concept of decentralization, we need to understand the concept of centralization. So when I say centralization, the entire authority is located in a particular area. That's it. Meaning only those people who are sitting at the top can exercise the authority. It may be political authority, it may be administrative authority, it may be financial authority. Everything will be exercised only by the people who are sitting at the top. Very important one. And that is called decentralization. And opposite to that is a decentralization, meaning the authority is located at various places. For example, if you look at India, we have authority today at the central level in the form of central government, at the state level in the form of state government, and at the local level in the form of Panchayati Raj and municipalities. So that is called a decentralization. That is the reason why in India today, if you want to take the decision or decisions are taken at the central level, state level, and also at the local self-government level. Am I clear? And even with respect to the allocation of the resources, the decisions can be taken at the central level, state level, and also at the local level. That is called a decentralization. And what is this decentralization? With respect to the financial resources, we are going to discuss now. Clear? So when you say the first concept here, cooperative federalism, what do you mean by this? This is nothing but the sharing of responsibilities in governing the people by the central government and state governments is called cooperative federalism. We know that there is a central government working for the welfare of the people, state government working for the welfare of the people, local self-governments, meaning Panchayati Raj, rural local self-government, municipalities, urban local self-governments. And when you look at these, so all these governments are working for the welfare of the people. But if a central government is working in one direction, state governments are working in some other direction, and the local self-governments are working in other different direction, then what is the use? That is the reason why you are expected to have cooperation among all the three tiers of the government. Then only it is called cooperative federalism. And I would like to tell you one thing here. When you say federation, that is the division of powers between central and state governments. That's it. But again, we are looking at the same concept of federalism between the states and the local self-governments. As we all know, Panchayati Raj and municipalities were not mentioned in the original constitution. They were added through 73rd and 74th Amendment Acts. Am I clear? And after that one, whatever the relation that is existing between central and state government in the form of federation, same relationship is also existing between state governments and the local self governments. That is the reason why it is called federation within federation, wheels within the wheels. This is called the the cooperative federalism. Clear? And here we are going to discuss regarding the concept of the decentralization of the financial resources. So let's try to understand more points. We will be going ahead. Kindly have a look at this now. Look at this. So when it comes to decentralization, what do you mean by this? Decentralization is nothing but the when the power from the central and state governments, when given to the local governments, it is called decentralization. Clear? Because Panchayati Raj was existing even before the 73rd Amendment, but that was not a constitutional body. Municipalities were also existing before 74th Amendments, but those were the not constitutional bodies. At the time, every decision was taken by the central and state governments only. Then what about the local self governments? Because if you look at the exact problem at a particular place, whether it is central government which will know very clearly what is the problem, whether it is a state government which will know what exactly is the problem, or is it those people who are at the ground level who know what exactly is the problem? And we conclude by saying the people who are at the ground level are the actual people who know what exactly is the problem. Since they know the problem, they know what exactly can be done and how can it be planned, how can it be implemented. But the only constraint is the finances. That is the reason why if you strengthen the local bodies with the finances, then that is called democratic decentralization. That is the reason why in India we have a concept called democratic participation. Democratic participation means participation of the people in decision making. Today you look at the parliament. I have Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So many members in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and all the people are the representatives of the people. Lok Sabha members are directly elected by the people. Rajya Sabha members are elected by the elected members of the state legislative assemblies. Clear? And those are the people who are sitting in the parliament. They are taking the decisions and decisions are being implemented. Similarly, at the state level, MLAs are elected by the people. They are sitting in the assembly taking the decision and they are implementing the decision. But where you are allowing the people to say something, if you want to allow the people to say something, decentralize the powers to the lowest level. Right? So with that idea, we have this amended the constitution and provided constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj and municipalities. That is the reason why today, if you go to any village, and every village will have Grama Sabha. What is Grama Sabha? All the adult members of a village put together is called Grama Sabha. So in that village, what are all the problems are known to the people, all the people who are living over there. So they are the right people to discuss, deliberate and decide what exactly should be done. And give them the financial support and they can implement it and they will make it successful. That is called democratic participation. That is called democratic decentralization. Taking the powers from the top level to the middle level to the bottommost level is called democratic decentralization. That is called giving the powers to the grassroots level. And that is what exactly is called a decentralization. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important. And the fundamental idea behind decentralization is that a huge number of issues and problems are best settled only at the local level. I have explained you this one already. Let's go ahead and discuss more points now. Look at this. Look at this now. It is also easier for the people to directly participate in the decision making process at the local level. Example, Grama Sabha. Today, Grama Sabhas are mentioned in the constitution, and every year minimum two times the meetings of the Grama Sabha will be held. In some states minimum three times, so state government can decide, and the decisions are being taken, and those decisions are being implemented effectively. Clear? That is called, democratic decentralization. And this particular democratic participation is possible only through the decentralization. Democratic participation means participation of the people in decision making. And towards this, a major step has been taken in the year 1992 through 73rd and 74th Amendment Acts, where we have, the constitutionalized Panchayati Raj as well as the municipalities. Am I clear? Next. Look at this. So, as I told you, when it comes to, 7th schedule of the Constitution, it clearly mentions about it clearly, reflects the concept of the, federation. I told you the word federation is nowhere mentioned in the Constitution, but the federal features are reflected in the Constitution in the form of a 7th schedule, where you have three lists: union list, state list, and concurrent list. For all the subjects that are present in the union list, decisions are taken by the parliament, central government. For all the subjects that are present in the state list, decisions are taken by the state legislatures and state government. For the subjects that are present in the concurrent list, the decisions can be taken by both central and state governments. Similarly, after the 73rd Amendment Act, you got the 11th schedule, that is called Panchayati Raj list. In the 11th schedule, you have Panchayati Raj list, and there you have 29 items, and on these 29 items, you are allowing Panchayati Raj to take the decisions. But even today also in most of the states, right, the enough powers are not given to the Panchayati Raj, and in most of the states, no Panchayati Raj is taking the decision on all the subjects. That is the reason why there is a criticism on Panchayati Raj, and Panchayati Raj bodies must be allowed to take decisions on all 29 subjects that are given in the Panchayati Raj list. But otherwise, a serious attempt was made to go for the decentralization in the form of a 73rd Amendment by adding 11th schedule of the Constitution. Similarly, through 74th Amendment, we have added, the 12th schedule, which consists of municipalities list. There you have 18 items. On these 18 items, you are permitting municipal bodies to take the decisions. Earlier, these decisions were taken by the state government, but now they have been decentralized. So these are all the examples for the decentralization. Am I clear? Next. So when it comes to Article 280, it mentions about the Finance Commission. We know that India is a large country, and the central government will impose large taxes and it will collect large taxes. State governments are also permitted to impose the tax and collect a tax, but the amount of money received by the states are very, very meager, hence that is not sufficient for the development of the state. Clear? So though India is a federation, the constitutional makers made a provision that let's have a finance commission, and this finance commission will be constituted every 5 years. That finance commission will give recommendations with respect to the division of taxes between central and state governments. The same finance commission will also recommend regarding the grants in aid to be given by the central government to the states. With this purpose, Article 280 has been constituted. Meaning is simple, even the constitutional fathers, they are also very, very clear with respect to the concept of the federation and decentralization. Am I clear? Similarly, After 73rd and 74th Amendment Acts, we got the Article 243I that mentions about the State Finance Commission. Clear? Whatever the relation that the Finance Commission has between central and state governments, similar relation is also being exercised by the State Finance Commission with respect to state governments and the local self-governments. Am I clear? Please remember this. Next, let's go ahead. Right. But why India needs the concept of the, federation very seriously? Why India needs the concept of the, the decentralization? Because most of the people believe, and it is true, that the constitution was a tilt in favor of central government. It is biased towards central government. Constitution has given more powers to the central government than the state governments. Am I clear? And this is reflected in the form of the Hasi federal nation. In the sense, under normal circumstances, India is a federation, but during national emergency time, the federation will be automatically transformed into unitary government without amending the constitution. Right? So in a federation, the powers are divided between central and state governments. But when I say unitary, all the powers are concentrated only at the central level. That will happen during the national emergency. That is the reason why we want more features of federation and we want more decentralization. Second, if you look at the times of Srimati Indira Gandhi when she was the Prime Minister, later, of course, during the time of Sri Morarji Desai, large number of times the president's rule has been imposed in India, and when president's rule is imposed, the state governments are debarred, they are suspended, and all the powers are taken over by the central government. On one side you are saying federation, and how can you suspend the powers of the states? That is the reason why we are discussing this topic. When it comes to the chief ministers or the members of the GST council, of course it is not the chief ministers, but the state finance ministers are the members of the GST council. So the ministers, the finance ministers, or the states have something to say in the GST council, but you don't have anything to say in the finance commission. Meaning, finance commission has no representation from the states. But because of the constitutional obligation, finance commission will reach to all the states. They will have discussion with the states, and after discussing with the states, they will prepare a set of recommendations. Those recommendations will be submitted to the government. Clear? Then that will be implemented. Is that okay? Next, central government is not expected to ignore the views of the states. This is another point. After 1971 elections in India, that is during the time of India-Pakistan war, where Bangladesh has been liberated, India felt that, meaning the government of India felt that the central government should be more powerful in order to go for the balanced development of the nation. Next, 42nd Amendment, which is considered to be the most controversial amendment in India. That amendment has given more powers to the central government. Of course, it has been, set back by 44th Amendment in the year 1978. Am I clear? Next, let's go ahead and discuss more points. Right. So when it comes to Niti Aayog, it has been constituted to actualize the important goal of cooperative federalism. Very, 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 very important one. Please remember this one. So one of the important objectives of constituting Niti Aayog is to promote cooperative federalism. We have discussed about Niti Aayog. Chief ministers are also the members in Niti Aayog, Governing Council. Am I clear? So earlier in the Planning Commission, there was no representation of the chief ministers, no representation from the states. That is the reason why that is a centralized body. But when it comes to Niti Aayog, you have the representation from the states. This is the true representation of a federation. Clear? So meaning is simple. Though India is a federation, though there is a division of powers between central and state governments, bodies like Niti Aayog are basically meant for the promotion of the cooperative federalism. If you are working in your own direction, if I am working in my own direction, people won't get benefited. Let's work together. Let's share the common responsibilities towards the people of the nation. That is the motto of the Niti Aayog. Am I clear? So it will enable good governance in India and build a strong nation state. Clear? Next one. Look at this. So I have a question here. Which of the following is or the key features of cooperative federalism? Now you can answer very easily. Joint focus on the national development agenda by the center and states. Yes or no? Joint development. Right? Next is the advocacy of state perspectives with the central ministries. Both are correct. So our answer should be option 3, and both A and B are the correct. So option 3 should be the answer. That's it. Clear? Next, when it comes to Niti Aayog, this is a platform to inspire cooperative federalism, stressing on the need for effective central and state cooperation to advance development outcomes and achieving double-digit and inclusive growth for India. I told you what is the meaning of inclusive growth, right, already. But what do you mean by double-digit, right? So when you look at the GDP, even today also that is in, single digits, right? But it has to reach to the double digit. That can be possible through cooperative federalism. That can be possible through effective functioning of the Niti Aayog. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important. Just imagine how the nation will progress once we reach the double digit. Our national income will grow. Our per capita income will grow, and people will be getting lots of employments, and the nation will be boomed, and the nation will be, on the way to become a developed nation. Am I clear? Next one. So you have different types of, the federalisms. One is unilateral federalism. Tomorrow it may be a question. Which of the following is the type of federalism that is existing in India? Unilateral federalism, conditional funding. No. Collaborative federalism, no coercion. But when it comes to C, cooperative federalism, where regulatory framework is given by the central government and needs be provided by the states. That is the reason why state governments can spend, but with the limitations. Clear? So let's not waste the finances. Let's work together, cooperate together with each other, and develop the nation. That is the reason why in India we have the concept of cooperative federalism, not collaborative, not unilateral federalism. Please remember these points. Am I clear? Next one. Let's go ahead and discuss this. Look at this. So, and these are the articles I have already discussed with you, right? So during our Indian polity classes, just to go through that one. So I have a question for you. Which of the following promote cooperative federalism in India? Cooperative federalism, which will promote? Planning Commission? No, absolutely no. Right? So this is not. So wherever Planning Commission is there, that should be the wrong. So obviously our answer should be 3, BCD. But if you look at BCD very carefully, Niti Aayog will promote cooperative federalism. National development will also promote cooperative federalism. But how come the Finance Commission? Finance Commission is consulting the states. But the clear-cut ideas of the states are not being taken into consideration. So then it should also be not correct. But in the examination, if the questions are given like this one, you have to pick up at least 3 from here. But once you know the planning commission is wrong, eliminate planning commission, and wherever you have other 3, that should be the correct one. But if you get somewhere without finance commission, that should also be correct. Clear? So that is the reason why I have given you this question, is that not to blame the the service commission. These type of questions may be given, right? So during that time you should be able to answer it. So though finance commission will not fall under this category, but given the question, that should be the correct answer. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important. Clear? So like this, intelligently try to answer the questions. So my dear friends, that's all for the day. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you so much for being with me this evening. Take very good care.